Whether they're hanging on hooks or by ropes, there's no mistaking a performer in a freak show. Their acts are outlandish, in your face, and often extremely dangerous. The methods these artists use to shock us have changed over the years, but now there's a new breed of freak show performer. They've transformed turn-of-the-century carnival tricks into extreme entertainment.
Hello, San Francisco. Thanks for coming tonight. I hope nobody gets hurt, especially me.
Jim Rose is the creator of one of the most successful modern-day freak shows, a menagerie of bizarre thrill-seekers called the Jim Rose Circus.
That's what tonight is. There's a big party with stupid human tricks, along with some bizarre circus performance.
It's a 21st century freak show with its roots grounded in the tradition of a 19th century sideshow.
My philosophy on entertainment would be give them a lot and give it to them fast.
22 acts in under an hour, paced specifically for an audience weaned on TV.
Eye candy, eye candy. Hey, look, San Francisco, I can get cable. I mean, people blink, and the hour and a half is over. You can do this at your next party. If you want people to leave your party, just do this, and they'll take right off. I mean, warp speed when you're doing a show like this can be incredibly riveting.
And speed sells. Over the last 15 years, more than 1 million people have seen the Jim Rose Circus in more than 20 countries. Jim isn't a performer as much as the ringmaster for the show.
Wrestler! Oh, no. Nature's greatest mistake! You're grabbing a microphone with 2 hands and talking in it like this. That's a rock move. You don't get that anywhere else. I think I learned that one from Trent Reznor. All right, my friends. Next up is the person that shows and proves that not only men can be knuckleheads. Give a warm applause for my wife, the beautiful BB the Circus Queen. Hello, BB. BB the Circus Queen provides the beauty factor for the Jim Rose Circus. Is it a little kitten? No, it's a live scorpion. Let's verify it's real. Verify it's real. She's the lovely lady that does incredibly dangerous things. We'll let it crawl on her face. And she helps me get the show up and pumping and rocking.
I get excited performing on stage and showing people some of the abilities of my body, what it can endure.
See if you can hold your breath as long as BB. Everybody.
To have the audience gasp and watching and kind of being on the edge of their seat.
How long can she stay in there? She's turning blue for you. I'm seeing brains coming out of those ears. 12, 11, 10, 19, 18. I lost count. 18, 17, 16. Let you what?
Oh!
What?
Oh!
She speaks French. 13, 12, well, I don't speak French. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 13, 12, 11, and 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let her out. Now, it'll take her just a second to liberate herself. She'll do a bag lady dance, and as soon as she can get out, give her a big hand. Thank you, BB, thank you.
Action from head to foot.
From an early age, Jim was fascinated by the circus.
I grew up next to the Arizona State Fairgrounds and Phoenix, Arizona. And during that period, early 70s, the State Fairgrounds was a cultural hub, so all the big shows would go there.
Jim began his career in a different kind of circus, working as a fundraiser for the Mo Udall presidential campaign. He later owned several companies before returning to his love, the sideshow, which he quickly turned into a main stage act. The circus has travelled all across America, and while Jim's act has changed, the one constant has been his wife, BB.
We're We're around each other 24 hours a day, every day, and have been for 15 years. And I would marry her again tomorrow.
Jim and I have an equal marriage. He drops a cannonball onto my stomach.
Is she okay? Yes, take a look at that stomach.
And what I do in revenge is I throw darts at his back. He's a human dartboard.
It's a thankless job. The last human dartboard had a severe alcohol problem. Historically, human dartboards do. Phoebe's an expert dart thrower, and she'll hit that little spot on the stick. If not, it's my bag. Ow! Oh! Phoebe, was it because of that bag? All right, you want another one? Yeah! Animals, but look who's talking. Oh!
Jim provides the color commentary, and BB the sexy stunts.
Ouch! We're also here to bring you something beautiful. Oh, you gotta love it!
But their circus always needs new talent, and over the years they've worked with more than 50 different artists, from Rubberman, Lifto, and the Torture King, to Enigma and female sumo wrestlers. This year's star is the split-tongued, tattooed Eric Sprague, better known as the Lizard Man. He has undergone many appearance-changing procedures, but physical alteration is not always necessary. Freak shows are all about retraining the body to take extreme pain. Constructs of Ritual Evolution, or C.o.R.E, have their own unique approach to staging a freak show. The Jim Rose Circus is one of the most successful freak shows and has worked with many artists over the years. Their latest star brings a unique act to the circus and has managed to compel and repulse audiences all over America. His name, Eric Sprague, better known as the Lizard Man.
The Lizard Man's function, he does every single stunt that, for example, my 1992, 93, 94 circus did, and I needed 5 different performers for that.
I often say that if you're under 12 or over 50, you're prone to just be really amused by me.
Take a look at this beautiful amphibian, tattooed from shaven head to toe. Horns growing from the head, coral grafted to the skull, stimulating the bone to grow. Sharpened teeth, and now show them your tongue. Each side works independently of the other. He can taste on both sides. It's a real corkscrew of a lelong.
I've primarily worked only with Jim because that is, in this sort of genre, that's the top level. That's taking it to where I know the world is going to get to see this. It's not going to be just randomly walking out and jumping on a milk crate in the park.
Eric grew up in New York, the son of an instructor in the Army Mountain Warfare School. In high school, he was a National Merit Scholarship finalist and an amateur fireblower.
One of my favorite things in the world is fire, so I ran out and I started making myself torches, and singed lips and tongues later, I could eat a torch.
It was while he was earning his degree in philosophy that he came on the idea to physically transform himself.
The idea for the project itself was derived from just the inspiration of tattooed men and tattooed women in sideshows. The reptilian theme came after playing with different designs and how I wanted to look. You know, obviously I have to live with this for the rest of my life, so it should be something that has a great deal of personal impact for me.
It took 2 tongue-splitting operations, 450 hours of tattoo work, Teflon eyebrow implants, and hours of teeth filing to fulfill his vision. Even Eric's parents aren't fazed by their strange son. His father helps him build props, and he calls his mum after every show to tell her he's okay.
It takes a lot of work to be a freak, even more so today. You know, it used to be that the slightest little difference could separate you from the rest of the people in your society, culture, whatever. Now it takes a lot to get people's attention, to get them to sort of go, oh my God, what a freak.
He's going to start his act off with a public service announcement. This is the improper use of a condom. First, he takes it out of the wrapper. He unfurls it like the American flag. And he takes Old Glory, and he sticks it in the nose, snorts, 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 and pulls it out the mouth, yes!
You know, people tell you, oh, this act is simple compared to this one. There are no simple, easy acts. They are all dangerous. They all entail a great deal of risk.
He's going to attempt to blow up this hot water bag until it gets the size of a sheep. And now, my friends, it is time for Gavage. Again, this is how you force feed those in a hospital unable to eat. Your lizard man will force snake, thread, eel, 7 feet of tubing into the stomach via the nose.
If you're not nervous and apprehensive, at least enough to be cognizant and focused, well, you're going to get hurt, and you're very likely going to hurt someone else if things go horribly wrong.
Ingredient, which is, of course, the green Gatorade. Chocolate, ketchup, ginseng, Maalox.
Bottoms up.
Now he's gonna mix it up. All right, in the Jim Rose Circus, what goes down must come up. Remember, you asked for it. You notice it's a different color. It's that time to mix with the bile in the stomach. It's that aftertaste you gotta worry about. Some people like it room temperature. He likes it body temperature. Let's get it out. The freaks that drink together, why they stay together. Everybody get your glass in the air, glass in the air, glass in the air. Cheers! Oh, yeah! Did you like that?
Medical anthropologist Peg Jordan knows why these shows hold such fascination for the viewer.
The show really is a low form of entertainment. I'm just kind of appalled most of the time, but on some level I'm sitting there thinking, this is nothing but Circus Maximus, a way for us to be grossed out.
The Romans may have been the first to host a brand of freak show with the creation of Circus Maximus. Crowds of more than 250,000 gathered to see blood sports such as chariot races, wild animal hunts, and of course the games of the gladiators. University of Missouri professor of psychology Armando Favazza says the same thing that drew the Romans to Circus Maximus draws modern audiences to freak shows.
I think that the macabre nature of the modern freak shows, it's interesting, but by looking into darkness, it sometimes makes us more appreciative of the light.
Jim Rose's agent, John Brannigan, says it's human nature to be simultaneously drawn in and repelled by bizarre acts. And that's the historic appeal of all freak shows, including the Jim Rose Circus.
It's just part of the whole charm of, if you could call it charm, of the Jim Rose Circus and being a part of it that night. Looking through your fingers, but you don't want to see, but somehow you're compelled to look.
Keeping the crowds looking, Jim Rose wraps up his act with his signature stunt.
I put my face in glass, no matter how much they encourage you, no jumpy. All right. Jumpy! No jumpy. Jumpy, $5. Somewhere there's a village missing their idiot. Okay, let's go. Stand on my head, but don't jump, love. Don't, no.
That's not his head.
On my head, love. Oh. It's the lowest form of entertainment. Tell your friends. Get the fuck off my head. Get off!
Live performance, it's a visceral experience. You can, see and smell these things so close to you. And Jim Rose does it to a T.
While sideshow artists like Lizard Man have retrained their bodies in order to perform their stunts, the task for other performers is to retrain their bodies to endure extreme pain. One of the most outrageous modern freak shows is undoubtedly Constructs of Ritual Evolution, or C.o.R.E. Founded by Steve Joyner in Houston, Texas, this group raises the stakes on the physical stunts performed by groups like the Jim Rose Circus. These suspension artists are literally hoisted into the air by as few as 4 debarbed salmon hooks.
They are bought from fishing stores, which is a whole funny story when you go in and ask for what you're wanting and they want to know what you want them for. So.
Each of the C.o.R.e's suspension performances has a theme, capitalizing on the show's shock value. This show has an android theme.
They're going to come on stage to basically a workshop, a rehabilitation center for broken down androids. The whole concept of the evening is to be able to suspend these androids and get them working.
But the show involves more than just an eccentric theme.
At this time, there were 28 people in our performance art group. Our performance art group consists of piercers, a medical team, costume and makeup, riggers, engineers, and a lighting department.
Even with a crew of 28, it still takes weeks to produce this intricate show and hours to set up.
Usually our show takes about 6 to 8 hours to totally set up. We've been here for hours already. This particular show is going to take closer to 10 hours to set up. On like every 10, 15 seconds.
While Steve is busy directing the construction, his featured performers, the Birdman and Zelma, are getting into costume and makeup before the flesh hooks are set and the show begins.
This is my first time suspending, performing in front of live audience with C.o.R.E. Not nervous yet. I'm pretty sure as soon as I get on the table and ready to pierce, I'll be kind of nervous, and then on stage, like all these strangers, you know, instead of friends being there.
And she's got reason to be nervous. Tonight they're daring to perform a very dangerous double suspension, where she will be suspended from performer Brian Birdman.
When you pull somebody in 2 different directions like that, you're going to have a little bit more apt to have a little bit of blood. We'll have bows to catch it. It's going to reflect light. It's going to be nice and shiny.
I'm nervous, period, because there's going to be a degree of discomfort involved. I haven't done this one before. I haven't had someone hanging from me, so we'll see what happens.
But suspensions didn't begin as freak shows. They date back to ancient religious ceremonies common to Southeast Asian and Native American cultures.
The purpose of suspensions was to get person into another state of consciousness, to have them drift out of their body and go into the unseen world.
Fakir Musafar is the leader of the Modern Primitives, a movement bent on educating people about the spiritual roots of piercings, tattoos, and suspensions.
Fakir Musafar is actually, in our eyes, one of the people who actually kind of founded or pioneered what we're doing.
Fakir began his exploration of ancient rites as a teenager in the 1940s, when straying from any social norm could be dangerous.
If any of the things that I did when I was a teenager were known to the people around me when I was a teenager, I know I'd have been thrown into a mental institution. They'd probably throw away the key.
Later, as the hippies redefined personal liberty, Fakir was finally able to bring his experimentation out of the closet and into the spotlight.
I think the 60s and the revolution of the 60s, all of that was really the beginning of the great cultural revolution.
It was a revolution that celebrated nonconformity. And in those days, it didn't take much to be different.
Just growing your hair, for instance, or doing body painting or handing out flowers, all of that was considered a break from the era of normalcy, the 50s.
While many people were experimenting with flower power, Fakir Musafar was already practicing suspensions.
I went out to the Native Americans that I grew up with and got involved in what they were doing, and I learned things, you know.
One of the ritual suspensions was called the Mandan Okipa rite.
The skin was pierced with a very sharp instrument, and they stretched back, and the skin was actually pulled away from the chest while they encircled a pole on a rope. And this was a ceremony that the young warriors would do. It took incredible bravery, and it was sometimes a ceremony that led through a spiritual gateway.
And I swept off into space, and only 2 or 3 seconds after I stepped off into space and hung by those things, I slipped out of my body again, and I saw a white light.
I was up there with the creators of the universe. It was a dimension that I don't think I've ever been in before. That it was just, I don't know how you'd say it. I guess it was cosmic or something. Boy, I've never been up in that kind of a level. There was music of a sort.
The notion is very ancient, and it's that if you would really be a free person, you must be free from the bonds of the flesh. And what better way to free yourself from the bonds of the flesh than to rip that flesh apart?
Fakir feels groups like C.o.R.E diminish the power of the ceremonies by taking the most intense suspensions and performing them in public as freak shows.
I can see some validity in going out and doing some of these things in a flashy or showbizy kind of way, but too often I have a problem with it because too often it's connected with thrill-seeking, it's connected with some aspects of human behavior that are not necessarily constructive.
I kind of agree with them. It does take away from the spiritual side. It is impure to do that. But when we're here on stage, we're performing. We're not trying to reach spiritual state of minds with it. We're just trying to show a show.
Spirituality aside, the priority for any suspensionist is safety. The piercing crew carefully marks the areas to be pierced, keeping in mind the amount of body weight each hook will hold.
Birdman, it's gonna be cold.
They then clean the piercing area to prevent infection.
They just started. First show's going.
Okay. Brian, go ahead and start your breathing for me, bud. In your nose, out your mouth.
With 1 hour to showtime, the piercers begin to insert the flesh hooks.
All right, Birdman, take a nice deep breath for us. Let it out nice and slow. 3, 2, 1, go.
Getting smooth.
Yeah, it was.
Birdman is pierced 10 times on his back.
Go all the way down now.
He then carefully turns over for an additional 8 piercings.
2, 1, pierce.
Deep breathing dulls the pain, unless a hook goes a little too deep.
How you doing, Birdman? Stinging. Stinging. 3, 2, 1, go.
The placement of these 8 hooks is critical to his safety and Zelma's, because she will be hanging from them.
I'm a little bit nervous now.
Butterflies or flutter.
Oh, yeah.
Breathe in your nose, not in your mouth.
All right, Zelma, take a nice deep breath for us. Let it out nice and slow. 3, 2, 1, go.
Being relaxed is the key. If you can take deep breaths in your nose and out your mouth and just circle breathing and be nice and relaxed, it helps with the pain issue.
I'm fine.
Yeah, loving it.
Not quite yet.
With the performers pierced and ready, the show begins.
You can pretty much stretch the skin as far as it needs to go. The slower you go up, the worse, the longer it takes for your skin to separate and stretch out, thus causing more discomfort. You want to keep your body hydrated. It allows the skin to stretch easier and separate from the muscle.
The time and care that the piercing crew took pays off during the show. It allows the performers to be swung around on the stage. Freak shows come in many forms, but one of the most outrageous modern performances is undoubtedly Constructs of Ritual Evolution, or C.o.R.E, where the suspension artists are literally hoisted into the air by as few as 4 debarbed salmon hooks. Birdman's 18 piercings not only suspend him, but also Zelma, who is hanging from him.
It's very addictive because the euphoric feeling that you get when you come down, you want to go back up, and when you're done all together, you can't wait until the next one.
People say we're nuts. People say we're crazy. People look at us as freaks. We're not freaks. We don't do it for shock value. We are humans, and we just want to present art to the world as a different kind of art. We love what we do.
One of the last surviving traditional sideshows in the country is Ward Hall's World of Wonder.
I am a producer of unusual entertainments. Some people call me the king of the sideshows. That's only because I've outlived most of my competitors.
World of Wonder has been playing to family audiences at fairs and carnivals every summer for more than 50 years.
Ladies
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a big round of applause for Mephisto, our iron-tongued marvel.
Our show is the opposite of television. We have no sex, no violence, no profanity.
At this time, I'd like to draw your attention to this bed of nails.
World of Wonder follows the traditional sideshow formula, running a continuous show from sunup to sundown, drawing in small crowds each time.
The indentation marks of the nails are in his back.
We do sometimes 25, 30 shows a day.
Tapping directly into my own strength. As you can see, I am stepping on the glass. I can twist on the glass, and I can even jump on the glass without injury.
It's demanding. This is why people like Jim Rose like to play the clubs and things. They only have to do one show a day.
And we thank you all for coming to visit this piece of our vanishing American history.
I idolize Ward. He's the last person out there that's from the old generation.
But the person responsible for the sideshow's early growth was P.T. Barnum.
He really invented the American sideshow as we know it.
It was Barnum who hit on the way to market the shows and turn them into an event.
Barnum's biggest financial coup was when he took oddities on tour and he presented them as a rock and roll or concert artist might be presented to the public today.
Presentation and marketing were only the first step. Next, he found oddities like Tom Thumb and taught them how to be stars. Tom Thumb was only 100 centimeters tall, the average height of a 3-year-old, and Barnum personally trained him.
So this little man he found in his hometown of Bridgeport, Connecticut, was able to impersonate the then President of the United States, and Napoleon, France, was his foremost impersonation.
Later, he staged events like the wedding between Tom Thumb and tiny Lavinia Warren to expand his audiences.
By the end of the late 1940s, there were 105 sideshows performing in the United States and Canada. That was really, I think, the apex of the number of sideshows that existed.
I think people are fascinated by freaks because it makes us feel better about ourselves, that our lot in life is not so bad after all, and we sure don't have to endure all the terrible things that these poor freakish people have to endure.
Like the so-called flipper children, whose mothers took the drug thalidomide.
This was largely prescribed as a sleep aid, and unfortunately the offspring had shortened, malformed limbs, and this was obviously very devastating.
Thalidomide victim CeeLo the Seal Boy used his deformities to make himself a star. Other sideshow acts used their physical maladies as a springboard to fame too, like Lionel, the lion-faced boy, Myrtle Corbin, who had 4 legs rather than 2, Libara, whose dead parasitic twin remained attached to his body, and Eng and Chang, for whom the term Siamese twins was coined. Their birth was deemed an omen of the end of the world by the King of Siam, but they exploited their condition to become stars who entertained royalty. Because they shared no major organs, they could have been helped by today's medical technology.
They shared a smaller stalk of cartilage and skin and could have been separated.
In fact, medical advances and major changes in carnival economics almost made sideshows extinct.
Here are new ways to enjoy yourself. New 1940 thrills and excitements.
As urban audiences demanded more for their money, the carnival owners responded with mechanical rides that were already popular in Europe. These new attractions were the very definition of the cheap thrill. Who needed a bearded lady when a tilt-a-whirl drew the same crowd and cost less to operate?
They found out that they could buy these huge rides for a down payment, and the ride pays for itself as it's operated. The biggest ride doesn't take more than 4 or 5 men to operate it. The sideshow had 25 or 30 people. So it's just a matter of economics that shows were not as profitable for the carnivals as the rides.
While other shows died off, Ward Hall kept at it, and as one of the only sideshows left, is again turning a profit.
Hello, IRS, are you listening? Yeah. I make more money today than I ever made in my life. People love the sideshow.
The Jim Rose Circus is also cashing in on people's love for the sideshow. And some would say it's hard to tell the difference between the audience and the acts.
There's a higher degree of tolerance in some aspects of our culture that we're starting to accept. Standing at the 7-Eleven and seeing a kid with more facial hardware than at the Ace Hardware store.
Experts believe that the mass media is the reason that some aspects of freak show culture are increasingly commonplace.
Television and especially the internet have really speeded up the pace of innovation and the pace of change. It's possible to get information on every kind of behavior, deviant or shocking that you want.
Because of the speed of cultural change, Jim Rose is constantly trying to stay ahead of the game by adding new acts to his show.
She's got the belt. That spells trouble. That spells trouble. She's about to hook a leg. That's what makes her a champion. Oh, wow. That would be considered a tie? Are you ladies all right?
Hi.
Hi.
In each city he holds auditions, searching for new acts to showcase.
We try to have auditions for a lot of reasons. One, to show support for the local community, and you never know, you might find some great talent. We're in San Francisco right now, so you'll see a lot more stuff than you normally would.
Of all the performers Jim sees, he will choose just one act to join his circus.
Close your eyes, make it sexy, pucker up. I want you to kiss the card for me, would you? Thank you, that was nice.
"90% of the people that audition are doing acts that were inspired by us. So when they're auditioning and they're doing something we've already done, obviously they're not going to make it to the show."
As the show warms up, BB is enticed onto the stage by juggler Dana Smith.
BB, the circus queen from the Jim Rose Circus!
One of us can stand on this sucker and juggle. Would it be you or me?
I think it's gonna be you.
Okay, hold on to those suckers. Hand those to me after I get there, BB. All right. BB, back up. I kind of suck at this next part.
I guess.
Okay, just hand me those clubs, BB. Fantastic, and she didn't hit me with them. Okay.
BB is not the only one lured to the stage. Magician Paul Nathan drags Jim up to test his courage against an amateur Indiana Jones.
You're up here, come up here. Jim Rose, ladies and gentlemen, get up here. Jim Rose, ladies and gentlemen. Stick out your tongue, Jim. Jim, using only your sense of taste and your tactile tongue, would you just see if you can sense the young lady's card in this packet of cards? Is it there? No, he says! Obviously an expert at this. Yeah, you know what's next. Do you taste it there? Do you sense it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the last pack. He says it must be there. Place the cards in your mouth, not your teeth, just your lips, Jim. You'll want to move. I've been drinking. You're following my trick, Jim. Head up high. Don't move, Jim. You're doing good. And... ladies and gentlemen, all the cards gone except for one. Does it have a lip mark on it? Yes, it does! Your card, young lady! The 6 of hearts!
One of the more interesting acts of the evening takes center stage, the Yo-Yo King.
What I liked about the Yo-Yo Man's presentation is the lack of presentation. There's something incredibly appealing about a large person that does anything.
which lucky contestant tonight that could be any one of us. Here we go. Please welcome to the stage right now, Mr. Jim Rose, people. Let's hear it for him.
It's no surprise who'll be joining the troupe.
Tonight, the winner is the Yo-Yo King! Congratulations. Give him a big hand.
Oh, he got it! He got it!
Freak show stunts are shocking in part because the performers do things with their bodies that don't seem possible. While these feats seem unimaginable, they're rooted in both the awareness and control of the human physiology. Suspension groups like C.o.R.E need a near medical knowledge of the skin to safely perform their suspensions.
They're only done through the subcutaneous layer of tissue. They're not in muscles or anything like that. We're looking on average about 15 to 20 pounds per hook. Sometimes you'll get a lot more.
The skin actually gets stronger as it stretches.
The skin is a remarkable living organism. It's the largest organ of the body. It has tremendous tensile strength. The skin will take the abuse and bounce back.
Just a little shaking.
Some suspensions require just 2 hooks to carry the weight of a full-grown man.
Okie Paul style suspension from the chest. If a man's 200 pounds and you're doing the chest, that's 100 pounds per hook. It's very intense. The heavier you are, the more intense it is.
The placement of hooks for suspension is key. They must go through the deepest layers of the dermis, allowing for the full strength of the skin to support the weight.
If it is a part of the body that's really tight, it could be either very uncomfortable or rip the piercing on an individual.
Like C.o.R.E, the human blockhead has to consider the anatomy and limitations of the body. His act requires knowledge of the sinus cavities of the skull.
You take a spoon, and you see there's 2 nasal passages, one that goes up, one that goes straight into a hollow spot in the head. Leave the one that goes up alone, tickle, tease, provoke the one that goes straight into the head until you get past the sneeze reflex. That only takes about a week, and then you'll be able to do this. Ow, 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 ow. Ow. Oh, yeah.
The Gavage, named after a medical procedure used to force-feed patients, is even more bizarre.
The Gavage basically begins by taking a tube and, similar to a human blockhead, forcing it into my face, into the nose. At the point where it gets back into the lower sinus passage, what I have to do is then, akin to a mental flosser who would normally pull it out his mouth, work it down to the back of my throat. So I then have to force the tube past the upper esophageal valve, and the tube will go down and enter into my stomach.
And now it's time for the anatomical smoothie.
The fluid is first forced in, then out of the stomach.
Tonight it looks like chicken chili.
Swallowing razor blades is a stunt that is actually as dangerous as it appears. Jim Rose learned the trick from BB's German brother-in-law.
When you learn to eat razor blades, it's a good idea to have somebody that English is their first language. The trick is to swallow them to the top of the gag reflex and not into the stomach.
After swallowing the razor blades, Jim adds some string, then regurgitates them one by one, using his tongue to work them onto the string. But what happens if he makes a mistake?
You know, the inside of the mouth coagulates really quick. You can put like a dry rag on a severed tongue and it clears up pretty quick.
Contortion acts also require years of training and make extreme demands on the body. California performing artists Osseus Labyrinth have even added high wire stunts to their act.
It's not like classic contortionism the way most people think of it.
Mark Steger and Hannah Sim rehearse several hours a day perfecting their show and creating a performance that is far from ordinary.
Yes, I've been called a freak before. We've also been called mutant blobs from outer space. Kafka-esque gets used a lot.
People watching us, their reactions are as varied as they are. It's kind of like
almost like a Rorschach test, you know, those ink blot tests. Everybody sees something different in it.
So we're going to go ahead then and take that glass light bulb.
And as the people who watch the freak shows are constantly looking for something different, the performers are continuously thinking up new tricks to keep them entertained. The most successful freak show performers are Osseus Labyrinth. While their act is too weird for some, they have taken their show around the world to increasing numbers of fans.
It's the most recognizable crowd pleasers. One is Slugs, with a Z at the end. Slugs. And another one is called Pachyderms.
Even Hollywood, always looking for strange new talent, has taken notice. The duo have roles in Men in Black 2, and they're featured in a music video for the band Tool. Freaks to some, performance artists to others, Osseus Labyrinth is another indication of the way elements of sideshow culture are becoming increasingly mainstream.
Lizard, you can stick a light in your nose, is this correct?
Yep.
Can I see how that works? So we're going to go ahead then and take that glass light bulb, stick it through your nose.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
To stay the #1 travelling modern freak show, Jim Rose and company constantly have to create new stunts to shock and amaze.
Oh, wow. Now hit the light. So you are a... Oh, you are a human spotlight now.
Look. On the wall.
Oh, look at the teeth on the wall. I'm loving it.
Like a shock.
That's an inside shadow of teeth, sharpened teeth. Cool.
Isn't that cool?
All right.
But on the day of a performance, there's only so much time for trying out new tricks.
Are we ready, Lizard? Yep. Let's go do it.
Selling tickets depends on more than just risky stunts. Promotion and marketing are also essential.
I generally have to get up about 6 in the morning to go do radio interviews.
We'll just chit-chat a little bit, and then we'll do a couple of
stunts.
I'm not going to watch.
Oh, God. Hey, listen, guys, let's not use gross and disgusting. Let's try and keep it compelling, because gross and disgusting freezes ticket sales.
Oh, okay.
Hello, Jim Rose.
Hello, Dave, Peter, Renee, and that Irish guy.
Jim Rose in studio. He's doing a show that you have to see tonight through Saturday at the Punchline.
Well, yeah, and it's Jim Rose Circus. Everybody knows from Lollapalooza. That's where you first made your name. But how do you take the stuff that happened there and convert it onto a stage at a comedy club?
Theaters are difficult to come by because you need like 1.5 years advance notice to get a booking.
Right.
And comedy clubs are a little easier that way. So it is a comedy. It always has been. Anyone that remembers, it's a warped one.
You know, Jim Rose Circus, you think the bizarre and things hanging off appendages. Picking up a chair with his ears.
Herculean.
It leads to this question, Jim Rose.
Yes, sir.
Do the members of your circus get full health benefits?
No, but I've got a workman's comp thing that we've exploited.
We weren't sure what you were going to be like, but you're such like a normal, nice guy. Well, I mean, I don't mean to offend you by saying that. But,
Hey, Lizard Man. Right on.
Right on.
That was the look.
Cool.
$7.50 now.
After the interview, Lizardman and BB make their way to a local hardware store to pick up supplies for the evening spectacle.
I go through the list of ingredients and props we're gonna need every night for each show. So I'll be shopping for cinder blocks, ketchup, hot water bags, condoms, that kind of thing.
While 2/3 of the Jim Rose 3-ring circus is off acquiring bizarre goodies for tonight's show, the ringmaster is off doing something a tad more conventional.
I love this. Never in a million years would I have thought. There you go. I'd be playing golf.
After the driving range, it's back to business.
All right, on a different note, can be deadly too. Completely
I hope
different.
not.
Jim Rose of the Jim Rose Circus.
Hi, Jim.
I'm basically just being pushed through the promotional cycle right up until stage time.
As stage time approaches, Jim changes from the promoter into the performer.
Well, this is Jim Rose behind this mask, and I got to tell you, I wear the mask because I don't want the people in the audience to know that it's me until it's too late.
But it's not too late for a last-second hug, and then it's places everyone.
You see how much taller I am?
That's the problem with those shoes. Have a good show, love.
Whether it's the lowest form of entertainment or the highest expression of individuality, freak shows like the Jim Rose Circus, Osseus Labyrinth, and C.o.R.E are constantly pushing the envelope of extreme entertainment, and as they do, mainstream culture gets a little shove too.
Please welcome Jim Rose!
Hello, San Francisco! Thanks for coming tonight. I hope nobody gets hurt, especially me.